Gasiorowicz a warm welcome. Cathy once auditioned to be a mascot for the Timberwolves. She fainted, but got called back anyway, because apparently everyone who auditioned also passed out. She decided to pass on the opportunity. Here's Cathy with Hildy 2.0. Woo.
For the first 64 years of my life, my mom was in a bad mood. Pissed off at my dad for not making her happy, at us kids for behaving like kids, at friends, neighbors, colleagues, her book club, cleaning ladies, rabbits, Republicans, one-way streets, overdraft fees, digital cameras, smartphones, computers, TV remotes, her diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment, at the neuropsychologist for telling her to close her private therapy practice, at losing her professional identity and her driver's license, at moving into senior living, and at my father for dying of renal failure, pissed off at life. Then, in August of 2020, something sort of miraculous happened. It was like the total eclipse of the sun in the musical Little Shop of Horrors, only in my mom's case, it was this magical combination of cataract surgery on her one good eye, my sister's suggestion to get her back on the Zoloft, and maybe a new stage in her dementia. In Little Shop, Seymour got Audrey too. Granted, a flesh-eating plant, but it was good for business, at least at the beginning. In my family, we got Hildy 2.0, the loving, appreciative, easygoing, playful mama of my dreams. Every time she'd see me or one of my sisters, she'd say, "How did I get to be so lucky to have 3 such wonderful daughters?" I asked her about that once, and she said, "Well, I wasn't the easiest person to live with. I was acrimonious, vitriolic, irascible. I had to look up 2 of those words. And she was the one with dementia." We spent the next couple of years going on adventures, hiking down by the railroad tracks, wandering through art fairs and Pride and immersive Van Gogh, cross-country skiing on Lake of the Isles, weeding flower beds at a nearby park, sometimes just walking around the neighborhood in Kenwood, holding hands, making up stories about the people who lived there. Like my mom, I'd always been impatient. But now that she was in her 90s and barely 4'8", she needed me to slow down, literally, walk at a slower pace. Not so much for her to stop and smell the flowers, but to deadhead them. Our adventures came to an abrupt end when we had to move her into memory care. But she made the transition easy for us. With no memory of the before times, my mom wasn't anxious or upset, just always happy to see me and genuinely interested in my life. Once she asked me if Bob and I were planning to have more kids. Just for the record, we never had any. And at 70 and 68, respectively, it did not look promising. I asked her, "Well, how many do we have?" She said, "I don't know, 2, maybe 3. I told her I'd talk it over with Bob and get back to her. Another time, I was complaining about a committee I was chairing. She asked, "Do you think it would help if there were more calves?" "Calves like cows?" I asked. "Yes, calves." I asked her if she thought they would help people stop acting like such assholes, and she thought they would. At our quarterly family care conferences, the staff would always tell us how much they enjoyed Hildy, that she was always smiling and thanking them, and that she never had any complaints. And my sisters and I would say, that's because she used them all up. In the afternoons, the aides would put her to bed to take pressure off her back and hips. She was on hospice now, not even 75 pounds. But when I'd crawl into bed next to her, she'd perk right up and ask, "Can I get you anything?" After I injured my back, I couldn't visit her for a while. The day I started driving, all I could do was sit in a chair next to her bed and cry. My mom reached for my hand and gently kissed each knuckle. "I'm so sorry," she said, and then kissed the next one. "I'm so sorry," and the next, and the next, until I genuinely felt better. Hildy died a week later. I miss her, but mostly, I'm just so glad we got to know who she really was all along.